meeting to order. This is the regular Town Council meeting, Thursday, May 28, 2026. We'll start with the invocation from Councilman Carroll.
We're thankful for this town and its residents. We are grateful for all who work for the betterment of our community and all who serve on its behalf. That those who work here and those who serve here be ever mindful of the town's vision and mission statement. Grant this council the wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, the ability to work together in harmony, even when there is honest disagreement, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, personal peace in our lives, and joy in our task. Amen.
Amen. If you'll join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, everyone. We'll start with the roll call. I'll note that we're down 2 today. Councilman Altieri had a close friend pass away, so there's an excused absence in that, and Councilman Tedesco won't be joining us today as well, but let's call the roll. We have a quorum.
Mayor Foley.
Here.
Vice Mayor Atwater. Here. Councilmember Carroll. Here. Let the record show we have a quorum present.
Are there any requests to reorder, delete items, or add emergency additions to the agenda? If there are none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Agenda is approved. Presentations and proclamations. We have one near and dear to the heart of the people here in Indian River Shores, especially those who have the great pleasure of working with our clerk, Janice Rutan, who is the face of the town when people come in to see them, as is Lucy, of course, but the clerks are really, I always say, the non-coms, the top sergeants of the municipal organizations. They get things done in a way sometimes politicians can't. So we have a proclamation that will honor the professional municipal clerks, and it's a week of honoring of these folks. Do we have anybody from the association, or you'll accept it on behalf? All right. So whereas the office of the professional municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists through the world, and whereas the office of professional municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of municipal clerks provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on the functions of local government and community, whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations, whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishment of the office of professional municipal clerk. Now therefore, the Town Council of the Town of Indian River Shores do recognize Professional Municipal Clerks Week and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, Janice C. Rutan, and to all professional municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent, dated this 28th day of May, 2026. Thank you very much. I usually skip a lot of the whereases in these proclamations, but I thought it appropriate to read it all the way through today because many people don't really fully understand the scope of the work that Janice does and municipal clerks do. So thank you for your dedication to us in the service, and have a great week. And anybody else like to say anything?
Just that I echo your remarks. Janice does a great job for us and for the citizens of town.
I knew from day one when we interviewed that you would be an outstanding clerk here. It's been great working with you. Look forward to the next few months, and I'll be sorry to go off council so we won't have any interactions, but congratulations.
Mr. Mayor, I'd also like to note on behalf of staff our great appreciation. Everyone will understand it when I say Janice is an excellent calming influence on us all around here, so we appreciate it.
Calming influences are good. All right, terrific. Thank you very much. And I'm sure all the citizens appreciate everything, and you get an awful lot of accolades from people on the street. The other folks up here, not so much, but you always get good accolades. So, all right. Item 4, are there comments from the public regarding the agenda items? Any items on the agenda if you have a comment that you'd like to make? You can have 3 minutes. No? Going once? Going twice? All right. Thank you very much. There are no comments from the public. Item 5 is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have resolutions, so we're going to do a roll call vote on this. Again, we do have a quorum.
Mayor Foley?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Atwater?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Let the record show the motion passes unanimously 3-0.
All right, thank you very much. For the mayor's report, three brief items. I've gotten some comments about the condition of sidewalks in the south of town, and I assure those that have made the multiple comments to me in passing that we're on it. We have FDOT that has jurisdiction over those, and the town manager can fill in later in his report if he so desires, but we do note that there are some conditions there with the asphalt broken. Weather patterns down here can do a number on things made out of asphalt and concrete, but we'll work with FDOT, and if not, then I suppose we can come with some kind of temporary solution that we'd have to have brought before council, but as it's not our responsibility to fix and pay for that, we'd like to see FDOT take care of that first. Is that a fair description?
Mr. Mayor, Council, that's correct. We have been speaking with FDOT. They are aware. I believe they're waiting for some other infrastructure work to complete, but it's definitely on their radar, and we are keeping in contact with them regularly about it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. As you may have heard, we have a new congressional map, and we're a new congressional district. We're now the Florida 9, not the Florida 8. So everything will go along the same for us. We'll still be voting in the same manner. In that regard, I do wish to remind everybody that if you haven't voted in a year or two, make sure that your voting registration is up to date. Furthermore, make sure that if you elect to vote by mail, you've requested a mail-in ballot, because if you didn't do it the last time, you won't be on the list. You had to re-register by statute, I think it was 2 years ago, with an implementing date of last year in 2025. So please make sure that you do that. The candidates for the Florida 9 have been making the rounds. I'm sure other members of council have had the opportunity to meet and speak with some of them. I have. I will tell you that the field is packed. We've got a lot of candidates, including an incumbent that's not from this area. Of course, our interest, since it does not look like we will have an Indian River County-based candidate in the primary or election, is to ensure that the candidates understand the importance of Indian River County. And I've been doing my best to pass that message along to all the candidates, and I would ask that other council members and members of the public who meet the candidates do the same. I'm also happy to report that our current, soon-to-be old congressman has assured us nothing's changed. Should he win re-election, he will be there for us to assist in every way, shape, or form that he can, in addition to our new congressperson. So if that's on your mind, we'll be working, as will other elected officials locally, to make sure that we have an adequate seat at the table and voice and representation in Congress. The governor had a press conference yesterday, some of you may have heard. And so we are looking at a special session that will discuss the long-awaited unveiling of restructuring real estate property taxes. So there was a lot in there to digest. If you watch the press conference, we even heard about the merits and demerits of keeping a baseball stadium in Tampa Bay. as a Yankee fan, I can't really comment on that objectively. However, here are the highlights of what the governor believes is going to work its way through after his conversations with legislatures, members in both houses of the legislature. So rather than a blanket elimination of real property taxes, the governor is proposing a phased-in approach, and this is ostensibly to allow local governments to prepare for and assess revenue decline with a smooth transition. Property taxes will still be used for core services, so the guys in the back row there, don't worry. Police departments, public safety departments will still be funded, as will education and schools. The initial break for taxpayers is proposed currently to rise to a limit of a $250,000 homestead exemption. And it's said statistically that this would benefit about 60% of Florida homeowners immediately. So that $250,000 will then have a phase-in that the legislature must implement that would cap out at $500,000 under the current proposal. And that would allow 92% of those with values of up to $500,000 a tax break. Now understand, when this goes through the special session, anything that comes out of the special session would go on the ballot for a constitutional amendment, and the voters would have to pass that by 2/3 majority. So
I believe 60%.
60% to approximately 2/3, right? Yeah, 66%, but you're right, 60%. Polling has showed that under this phase down, taxpayers are overwhelmingly supportive of such a proposal. So some questions: if you have friends that are thinking about moving to Florida, they would have to pay homestead taxes for 5 years in order to mitigate the windfall for newcomers, have them pay in for things that have been done in years past. The special session is expected to run to June 3. Importantly, there's no call for new taxes. There have been a lot of rumors that, well, they're going to have an income tax, they're going to have new sales taxes, they're going to have this. This session will not be discussing new taxes at all. It would just be discussing the implementation of reform on the saving side for taxpayers. The governor has assured what are referred to as fiscally constrained counties, either a trust fund or some kind of funding mechanism to supplement those fiscally constrained counties. I think that's going to be a bit challenging. There are some constitutional issues that require due apportionment among all tax recipients of tax funds. So the assurance that some of the more rural counties that really rely heavily on real estate taxes exclusively is under consideration and would need to be done. So as I said, the governor's survey showed 77% support for the concept, well above 60% or even 66%, as the case may be, but it is 60%, the vice mayor is right. And that's what we have. That's what we have going into the special session. I'm just going to remind everybody of my typical comment, which is this horse is going to go into the special session and it may come out a 3-hump camel. So we don't know what's going to happen during the special session. It appeared from the press conference that the governor is very confident that he has worked these issues through with the requisite votes that are needed in both chambers of the House to get this done. So we will see. We will see how this works, and we have begun doing some back-of-the-envelope calculations in terms of, how it's going to be affected. I've been asked by people, will our services be affected? My opinion is no. This is going to be implemented after I'm gone and after Sam's gone. Other folks will have to worry about the budget, but there's going to be a shifting of the burden of real estate taxes from homesteaded folks to non-homesteaded folks and folks with values above $500,000, that will still be taxable at non-homestead rates. So that's pretty much most of the island. Our property values are pretty significant. Our other surrounding communities, I think, are going to have more challenges, but I think it's going to be popular with the public. So let's see what happens at the end of the special session, and we'll be able to report more. That's it for my report. If there are any questions from council, I'm happy to answer them. Oh, sorry, one more item. We've been following and tracking the utility bill. I believe it's House Bill 1451 is what it's known as. In discussions with members of the legislature, I'm told it's still on track to be submitted to the governor. Why it hasn't been submitted, they've got other stuff going on. That's just what the response is. So no guarantees, but let's be hopeful. HB 1451, I believe, gets us 90% of the way to what we would want to see achieved in a utility bill. The only thing absent, to remind folks, we talked about this a couple of meetings ago, is an outright prohibition on transfers of surplus revenue from utilities to a general fund. But there will be a reporting mechanism in 1451 requiring municipal-run utilities to report how much of the overage they have, and that goes to the general fund. I'm hopeful that that's a first step on the way for a bit of transparency to show this is how much money is really a hidden tax that's being put on people in the guise of a utility bill. All right, so that's it. Any questions for me? All right, thank you very much. Council member items. Are there any council member items?
Yes, sir.
Vice Mayor.
Just a follow-up on the property tax situation in terms of what we deal with here. Our property tax revenue represents 79% of our total general fund revenue. And our police, public safety, and fire, public safety represents 65% of our expenditures. So that gives you a sense of what we have to deal with. Our town probably is at the far end of the spectrum in terms of relying upon property tax revenues. A lot of other municipalities, particularly the larger ones, have all sorts of different revenue flows. For example, both Indian River County and the city of Vero Beach charge a 6% franchise tax on your utility bill. That's both on electric and water and sewer. Pick up your bill here, you don't pay that. So that's sort of to the mayor's point, there's all sorts of hidden taxes out there. And so when you look at property tax comparisons between us and Vero Beach, say Sebastian, Indian River County, and well, I don't know about Orchid, whether they charge that or not. That's an additional benefit of living here. So I just want to point that out. I think this whole thing is going to have a very broad brush to it. The fiscally constrained counties, as the mayor mentioned, tend to be rural counties like Glades, Okeechobee, and so forth. They're going to have a pretty rough time with this because the value of their houses are so low relative to this limit that the governor is going to propose. The only other thing is I gave the town manager a heads up. Our anchoring limitation area ordinance, I believe we passed in August of last year, and I just like to ask him to give council an update in terms of what's going on, in terms of setting it up, has enforcement started and so forth. So.
Mr. Mayor, if I may I defer that to the town manager's report? Because
Absolutely.
I have a few slides on that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Absolutely, yeah. All right. Councilman Carroll, you all set? Okay, good. Discussion with possible or probable action. These are always the exciting parts of the agenda, right? Item 8A, we have comprehensive plan amendments transmittal hearing. So, Mr. Harpring, is this your item?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. The town's prepared comprehensive plan updates as part of our evaluation and appraisal review process, and this is required by state statute. Updates essentially compensate or address any changes in the legislature that deal with the comprehensive plan. As you might recall, we actually passed a comprehensive plan in first reading last year. However, subsequent to that, Senate Bill 180 took effect, and Senate Bill 180 had a lot of effect on all comprehensive plans that were being done around the state. The town decided to defer at that time and make our comprehensive plan consistent with all the provisions of Senate Bill 180. So that's why we're here at this particular time. Additionally, I'd like to note that the comprehensive plan was reviewed yesterday, and we thank the Planning, Zoning, and Variance Board who met at fairly short notice, sitting as the local planning agency pursuant to our town ordinances. They did review the comprehensive plan, the amendments, the changes, and at that point in time, they recommended to approve the comprehensive plan. So if we could just go through a few slides very quickly on this. Thank you, Heather. This is ordinance number 594, comprehensive plan amendments. As you know, under Florida statute, chapter 163, we're required to do a comprehensive plan, and that flows into our land development code and the manner in which we structure our ordinances. Comprehensive plan contains both future aspirations and foundational goals, as well as a sort of a compass or our objectives, and our playbook is our policies. These are planning period went out to 2045. These are some of the elements. So we just talk about future land use. Again, none of these figures have changed since the previous review, but I do note the future land use notes additional 800 residents by 2045. And for transportation, we again understand the unique nature and dynamic of the town, but we do want to try to support friendly motorized, non-motorized travel, and low-impact, non-motorized options. Housing and property, we're essentially built out. We have one area that is developing 10 single-family homes. We have a few properties in different areas that have the ability to develop standalone single-family homes, but essentially all the other large properties for development. Thinking back briefly to Surf's Edge, but of course now Blue and the Strand have essentially built out the town. Public facilities and capital improvements, our primary goal here is obviously to maintain our level of service standards and comply with all the Indian River Lagoon Protection Program requirements and reduce pollutant loads and distributions into the lagoon. And coastal management, I don't think I need to say much about this, only because we have been pretty well versed in this area relative to securing the critical erosion designation from FDEP and working to protect and restore our beach and dune systems. On conservation, again, through a lot of these actions, we do help to preserve our natural resources and protect our environment and the area in which we live, which is critically important because it draws so many of our residents here because of the beauty of the community in which we live. Recreation and open space as an element, we don't have any particular parks other than the beach park, as it were, that we have at the end of Beachcomber Lane, but we do partner with other agencies. The county has a beach access within the town jurisdiction as well that they maintain. And that sort of segues into intergovernmental coordination. We do have a number of joint planning and operational items. One which Vice Mayor Atwater mentioned that I'll discuss a little in a minute, a little more details, the anchoring limitation area, which is coordination between the county and the cities that are involved, as well as our recent septic to sewer and paving project with the city of Vero Beach. So with that, I will simply turn it over to council to see if you have any questions. The final thing I will note is that the sum and substance of the effect of the changes in basic parlance would be that we softened language consistent with the provisions of Senate Bill 180, which prohibited the town from designating or adopting anything that would be more restrictive, more burdensome, especially relative to private property rights and development and so on. So that's where we are with the comprehensive plan updates. I'm happy to do my best to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Harpering. Again, bear with me as I give my stock speech. This is what is referred to as an unfunded mandate. So if a genie was found by me walking along the seaweed on the beach, and I had 3 wishes, it would be eliminate unfunded mandates, eliminate unfunded mandates, and eliminate unfunded mandates. These are things that are foisted upon us that we have to do. We get no compensation for it. When the legislature passes these, these requirements, we have to do them whether we like it or not. Many of the items in the template for it have absolutely no application to a community like ours, so it's an exercise that we have to go through. It does have some benefits. It gives us some moments of repose to think about planning, but we don't do this because we choose to do it. We do this and we spend the money to do it because we have to do it. My last comment on this would be, the legislature passed a statute 2 years ago requiring municipalities to provide a good faith estimate of the additional costs on the taxpayers for any ordinance changes or adopted ordinances that municipalities would adopt. Again, that was another unfunded mandate, but we have to assess a cost on this. The legislature doesn't. So, maybe in future years, that would be a good idea for the legislature to adopt a provision, somewhat like the Paperwork Privacy Reduction Act at the federal level, that says we're mindful of how much this is going to cost local municipalities, and perhaps that would be an element that would give them some pause in adopting these things. With that said, after that speech, Mr. Harpring, are you looking to set a hearing date for this? What is the action item that you wish to propose?
We would just like to move forward with first reading and a vote by council.
Okay, thank you. Vice Mayor Atwater, your comments?
I echo what you say. If you flip to page 98, that starts the future maps, Appendix A. And then if you go into the second page, because it doesn't have a number on it, because it's a map. This is Transportation Facilities 2025 level of service map. For those of you who don't know, I'm on the Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is a transportation planning board for the entire county. And something just seems odd on this map, and maybe if the town manager could follow up with Kimberly Horn. It shows a level of service at LOSC is better, it's green, and the level of service D, yellow, is worse. I'm guessing the colors are reversed, because if you look at the section where level of service is D, that's the section north of the town hall, where there's no roads really going in. And the green is at the south end of town, which oftentimes backs up at lunchtime and around 3 o'clock when all the contractors are leaving. If you could maybe just ask them if that's correct, or maybe they got that information with FDOT, but it's a little bit of a head scratcher to me. So.
I'll follow up on it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Mr. Town Attorney, given the Vice Mayor's comments, if there is a change that's needed, are we able to denote that a Scrivener's error, or are we still able to proceed with the approval?
Mr. Mayor, as this would be first reading and ultimately it would go up to the state, we have the ability to correct that if it's incorrect information.
Thank you very much.
If you're prepared, I'm ready to read the title.
Councilman Carroll, any comments? Or
No further comments. You summed it up nicely. Thank you.
all right, thank you. Take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is ordinance number 594, an ordinance of the town of Indian River Shores, Florida, with attachments amending the comprehensive plan of Indian River Shores, providing for the amendment to the text of various elements and the future land use map series of the comprehensive plan, resulting from the directives of the town council after the completion of the evaluation and appraisal review, providing for a business impact estimate, providing for Scrivener's errors, the repeal of all conflicting ordinances, and an effective date. This is the first reading. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Is there a motion to approve? Any discussion on the motion? There being none, let's have a roll call vote.
Mayor Foley?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Atwater?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll? Aye. Let the record show the motion passes unanimously 3-0.
All right, thank you for your comments and explanation. Mr. Harping, thank you for your comments, Vice Mayor. Item B, 8B, real estate sign penalties.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. In this particular ordinance, we're looking to provide a defined structure for the penalties specifically related to signs under that section of the ordinance. This will allow us to provide consistency in the administration of the penalty and fine structure. Especially important will be when we go to a special magistrate on any of these that may or may not be challenged. This particular structure will provide a lot more guidance, and as I said, consistency and clarity. That's the purpose of the ordinance.
Any discussion on this?
Just one quick question. On page 140, section 164.16, says, unless otherwise specified, any person or business who shall violate any of the terms, provisions, or conditions of this chapter shall be punished by a fine. So does the word shall indicate that there's no discretion? They're going to get hit with the fine?
I'm just trying to find that, Mr. Vice Mayor.
I'm sorry, 140, section 164.16. And that,
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat your question?
okay, it says, any person or business who shall violate any of the terms, provisions, or conditions of this chapter shall be punished. So using the word shall, does that mean there's no discretion?
That's, if there's a violation, that's correct.
Okay, I mean, frankly, that's what I want, since we've had serial offenders, so I think that's a good provision, so.
But keep in mind, there has to be a defined violation, because we deal with a lot of the folks in certain manners where we're just trying to, again, educate, encourage, and enforce before we start, through the process. We do know that we have frequent flyers, as it were, relative to sign enforcement. And this is really helping us out here.
And the provision says first offense is a warning, which I'm good with, but, okay.
All right. Councilman Carroll, anything on this, or are we good to go? All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Mayor,
Aye.
just a quick.
I'm sorry, you have to read the ordinance.
No
yeah.
problem. Yes, sir. Motion's fine on the floor.
My fault.
Ordinance number 595, an ordinance of the Town of Indian River Shores amending chapter 164 signs of the town's code of ordinances, amending section 164.00 definitions, adding section 164.06 temporary signs D advertising sign or structure, adding section 164.15 violations and section 164.16 penalties, providing for applicability and inclusion, providing for severability, providing for an economic impact estimate, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. This is the first reading. Thank you.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Foley?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Atwater?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Let the record show the motion passes unanimously, 3-0.
Okay, item 8C, ordinance number 596, adoption of town seal. We have a new seal. You want to explain why we're going away from the tree to the sailboat?
Well, in terms of the seal, we
I'm
are
sorry,
still maintaining the
Pelican.
historical tree, but here we're looking at establishing the seal officially through ordinance. We've obviously gone through a review and evaluation of our branding, our logos, our seal, our website, and so on, and this is part of the rebranding. And in this particular case, we're asking for actual formal action through Ordinance 596 to essentially protect and regulate the seal.
Right, my apologies, we are keeping the tree. We have on some of our official documents, though, a pelican and some, things, so are we going to substitute that for all the other official documents?
There's an official seal, which is what we're dealing with today, which is going to be used in somewhat more of, sounds a little repetitive, an officious manner. Our other logo, as we see, is more for town branding and publication and consistency with what we're doing in the website with colors and so on. Using an officious seal, as it were, for letterheads and correspondence and things like that seemed a little, oppressive for the aesthetically excellent town that we have.
All right, well, I'm happy to defer to my colleagues on this because I've been consistently referred to as aesthetically challenged. It's fine with me. Is there any discussion on this? Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Mayor, one more time.
Oh, sorry, you have
No
to
problem.
read. Yeah,
This is the
go
last
ahead.
one,
Yeah.
I promise. Ordinance number 596, an ordinance of the Town of Indian River Shores amending Title III, Administration, Article 1, General Provisions by adding Section 30.03 designating a town seal, providing for applicability and inclusion, providing for severability, providing for an economic impact estimate, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. This is the first reading. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Now, is there a motion?
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mayor Foley?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Atwater?
Aye.
Councilmember Carroll?
Aye.
Let the record show, the motion passes unanimously, 3-0.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. When there's discussion, I do always forget to have you do the official reading, so thank you for reminding me of that. Item 8D, parking ordinance review. All right, so we had a meeting setting the stage for the public to make a comment on changing the parking ordinance as discussed at 2 meetings ago in front of council, which is providing some relief for people who drive pickup trucks, particularly, passenger pickup trucks. And is this to report back on the
public meeting.
public meeting and
Yes, sir.
what the public's sentiment was?
Yes, sir.
I will note, I was pretty surprised that people, there are people who usually are very comfortable expressing opinions. I did not get an awful lot of, I don't think I got one email on this. I did get some discussion, so I don't know about my fellow council people because we're not allowed to speak to each other between meetings. So very interested to hear what the public has to say about this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. To set the stage for the meeting that occurred on May 19th, as you noted, we had discussion and had a community input meeting. We did notify our HOAs, our community management folks. We notified the general public through the website, the email, so we tried to get that information out. The meeting was specifically related and directed concerning the parking of non-commercial trucks, as you noted, essentially private use truck vehicles in residential driveways. Our current ordinance prohibits the parking of those vehicles from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And that meeting was held again because of some increasing inquiries over the past year. Approximately 15 people were in attendance. Of those that spoke, maybe about 6 or so spoke. All supported some type of change in the current ordinance, which would allow personal use, non-commercial trucks to be parked on private property in driveways. And we've received a number of emails from folks, residents who were not specifically able to be at the meeting, and those reflected about the same temperature in terms of what folks wanted to do. So at this time, I would also note that we did provide counsel, and having spoken with everybody, I know you noted some of those comments. We provided a recording of that to council, and at this point in time, staff is looking for direction as far as what you would like us to do. If you'd like us to consider options, if you'd like us to do nothing, to draft some template outlines for your review, for a view of how you would like to proceed.
All right, I'll turn it over to council for discussion.
I think we should move forward. I'd like to see your thoughts, ideas on getting it changed.
Vice Mayor?
The reality is that sedans aren't being produced by manufacturers anymore. It's trucks and SUVs. Whether an SUV is a truck depends on the person you ask, and so I think we probably should move forward.
All right, thank you. If anybody came after the call to the audience on agenda items that wants to talk about this issue, I won't make you wait to the end of the meeting for item 13. If you'd like to say a few words, pro or con, we'll reopen it up at this point. Anybody want to talk about that? Ms. Bowman, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Council. I was here earlier, but I didn't speak up, but I thought I'd just say a few words. Terry Bowman, I live in Pebble Bay Estates, across the street from the mayor. I did attend the meeting the other day. I really appreciated the opportunity to the public. I have also spoken with other neighbors some of whom have pickup trucks. They were not able to attend the meeting because it was during business work hours. I think they were appreciative of the town considering the change. I spoke at the meeting. I think it's, the times have changed, as you have acknowledged. Pickup trucks are not sort of presumed to be commercial trucks anymore. Most of them are personal vehicles. The F-150, for example, is the highest or best-selling vehicle in the United States. I think it's would be very appreciated to adjust the ordinance. There can be some parameters around it that Mr. Harping and Mr. Sweeney can, I'm sure, figure out. I'd be happy to help on a committee of some sort to pull together some ideas. I personally don't have a pickup truck, but members of my family do have pickup trucks, and it would be very difficult to basically have them visit but inform them that they'd have to park their truck in another town. That seems it would seem unwieldy, and I think unnecessary, given that my SUV is bigger than my sister's F-150 at this point. So I appreciate this. I think there wasn't a single person at that meeting who spoke up in opposition, and everybody did receive notice. So I do think that we can still maintain the aesthetic of the town with allowing personal pickup trucks. So thank you very much for this consideration. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your comment. Anybody else? Yeah, I agree with what's been spoken, and we're just to remind folks, we're in an anomalous position where the legislature passed a statute saying that homeowners associations could not prohibit parking pickup trucks. But because of the way the statute was written, there's a question as to whether or not municipalities still could. So we'd be in a situation where the Carlton, Johns Island, could not prohibit parking pickup trucks in driveways there, but we were going to do it on our few public roads. So I wouldn't want to be standing in front of an appellate court trying to defend that. So part of the process here, I think, is to conform our laws to the reality of what's going on in the field, and also to prevent us from having to defend positions that are indefensible. With this, I think the devil is really going to be in the details, and we're not the only municipality that has chosen to deal with this. So we're not talking about monster trucks with the big swamp wheels, and there's going to have to be some tight definition of what a personal pickup truck is. No commercial signs. We do want to keep the character of the community. So I think the heavy load, the heavy labor is going to be in us looking at a proposal that really fits neatly with this beautiful seaside town. So to be reasonable, can you have something for us the next council meeting, or do you need till July to do it?
I think we can have something prepared at a minimum as a draft for everyone to look at. If we can get it out early enough, whether you want to set it for first reading or not, we can talk about that as we move along, but we'll have something prepared for sure at the June 22nd council meeting.
Okay, well, that's fine. I mean, it is summer, and I do, on these kinds of things, I do typically like us to have most of the population in town, but given the lack of opposition to this, I have less of a concern with this issue than I would with any other issue. So terrific. That's great. I'm glad, and thank the people of the public that participated in their comment on that. And the ball's in our court. We'll get to work on it. So thank you. All right, let's move to staff updates. Building department report.
Good morning.
You're doing a twofer, huh?
Yes, sir.
A and B? Okay, building department and code enforcement. You can handle both, Mr. Mike Kranz.
For building department report, I have nothing to update. If you have any questions, I'll relay them to building official, Mr. Held.
No, you're just relying on the report?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, yeah. We have some things to report, they're just in the report. Okay, item 9B, code enforcement, so.
Also with that, I have nothing further to update on those line items. Any questions?
Nope.
Mr. Mayor, if I make a note?
Yep.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I just want to thank here Jake for his work, particular in this area, because he's usually telling people they have to do things. Those are all life safety, personal safety, well-being items, but all the firework and all those inspections are very, very important to the town, especially since we have a number of multifamily units here in terms of, 2 and 3 stories. So we appreciate him being out there and being the face of telling people to do stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, the brevity with which we treat your report does not diminish the importance of it. Let me just put it that way. In addition to the code enforcement issues, which doing a very important job of protecting the aesthetics of the community and our property values by distinguishing us from other areas around, the life safety issues are extremely important, and thank you for that. I'm hopeful that when you tell someone, did you know you have a really bad fire hazard here, they don't react negatively. They say thank you for pointing that out to me. So.
In the end, yes.
All right, great. Anything for Mr. Mykranz on either of these two reports?
I was just looking down at the breakdown. Boy, we've had an explosion of signs this year compared to last year, right? And unless it's a different measurement period, but it was from 20 real estate signs to 55. So I'm glad you're keeping after it. So.
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
9C, Facilities Department Report.
Good morning, Council.
Thank you, Ms. Scheid.
You have the report. Any questions?
None here. Thank you for the job you're doing, a new task, and can think of nobody better to handle it than you, so thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Anything for Lucy? No? Okay. Finance Department. In the time between the mayor's report and you're getting up here, have you figured out how we're going to make up for all this tax revenue? So-
I'm thinking about it. It keeps me up at night, but we'll figure it out.
I have a suggestion. We raise the sign penalty to $1,000 a sign.
Right, and just to put people at ease, we're not making too light of this. We will have challenges, but as the vice mayor pointed out, a real substantial portion of our town budget goes to the public safety department, and that of course is exempt from any scenario of legislation. So whether we'd have a special taxing district or we'd just be able to, send a separate tax bill as to homesteaded and non-homesteaded people for that on an allocated basis, we'll be fine. So, but what have you got so far?
Nothing really beyond my
Okay.
report, so unless you have any other questions for me, I will gladly answer them.
Nope, thank you very much. I know summer is still a busy season for you. That's when all the numbers get crunched.
Yes.
For the public's benefit, we're well into budget season, and we'll be looking forward to our budget meetings in August and September, right?
Thank you very much.
And then don't we have one in October as well?
We have one in July with
July.
is the budget workshop, and then we have the public hearings in September.
Great, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Public Safety Department.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor,
Good
Mr.
morning.
Vice Mayor, Councilmember Carroll. So in addition to the report, the only thing I have to add was last month during the town council meeting, one of our residents, Mr. Hutmaker, complained, brought up the issue of traffic failing to come to a complete stop when turning right southbound onto A1A from certain developments and streets in town. We took a look at this, and since April 23rd, we've had 44 violators stopped, which resulted in 43 warnings being issued and 1 citation. And also of note is that 65% of these violations took place prior to May 5th. So the deterrent effect has worked, and we will continue to obviously enforce this, take this very seriously, because it is a serious violation.
Thank you. Just before you move on, in response to that, because safety is always the paramount issue for us, I took a rare bike ride, and for those of you who know me, it's rare that I get on a bicycle. I don't know what the regs are for signage, but, you know, coming out of some of these places, the signs are really high, not visible. Some of them are obstructed by, you know, by oak trees and foliage, and I know things grow quickly down here. We just need to kind of look into that, and I would ask, I don't think this is a public safety thing, maybe, you know, maybe when the buildings department is out doing things, they can have a look. I know that the FDOT has a very structured system for how high the signs are, but in coming out of one development, and I'm a pretty big guy, and I have a pretty good sight line. I would not even know there's a sign there unless I craned my neck and looked up. So just something to think about if we can encourage people to look both ways. It's not anybody's maliciousness. I think that our tendency is we just tend to, our brain takes us in the direction of where we think the danger is to the vehicle pulling out. So if there's some way of enhancing or improving the signage, you know, look both ways or whatever, we'd be having. But thank you for the enforcement report. That's very, very encouraging.
Of course. Are there any other questions? Thank you.
We're all good. Thank you. Town Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You covered virtually everything related to the legislative session. I just, as a follow-up to the proposed budget, which will have its final vote tomorrow, there's a 72-hour cooling off period. Just as a reminder, in Florida, the governor does maintain line item veto ability. So keep in mind what is proffered to him, assuming by Friday or over the weekend, in anticipation of the budget being executed by the 1st of July, there may be continued reductions in there. So as the mayor pointed out earlier, this is a continuing moving target in a lot of different ways, and I continue to talk with my colleagues, and I know all of you are in touch with colleagues in the Florida League of Cities, so should I hear anything, I'll certainly pass it along.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anything for the Town Attorney?
Just one thing. How does it work in Florida? If there is a line item veto, does that go back to the state legislature to give them an opportunity to override?
No.
Oh, okay. So completely different than U.S.
Very different, very unique.
Thank you. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. I have two items that I'll address. First, a very brief update on the anchoring limitation area. So the anchoring limitation areas were established by Florida statute. Total aggregate area, anchoring area in the county cannot exceed 10% of the county's delineated navigable, in fact, waterways. But less than 100 acres in size, the area has to be less than 100 acres in size. If it doesn't include any portion of the marked channel of the ICW, any mooring field or marina, and again, it has to be clearly marked. Vessel can't be anchored, and this is really the core of the anchoring limitation area. It can't be anchored more than 45 consecutive days in a 6-month period in a designated anchoring limitation area. Town participation was established by Resolution 2313. We're currently in contact, and where we are right now, once the surveys were completed, it was discovered that 3 areas within our designated anchoring limitation area contained private submerged lands. We've been in communication with all of those particular property owners. I've heard back from 2 already, just waiting for the 3rd for a final, but all are in agreement that they have no problem with their submerged lands being included in the anchoring limitation area. The importance of that is that it allows us to have one large area instead of broken up areas where we wouldn't be allowed to do that on technically privately submerged lands. And the town is seeking authorization, as I noted, to include those areas in the ALA. And I'll just note, sorry, it's not up on the large screen. Heather, if you go to page 2, there you go. You can see on this particular page, we have part of the estuary, and then below that, we have part of essentially Lost Tree, and the third one is, yes, Indian River Land Trust. Again, don't anticipate any issues with any of those folks. I've heard back from them, and Mr. Sweeney is working on basically a template agreement for all 3 to execute with us in the county in regards to this. So that's where we currently are with the ALA.
So I don't have familiarity with Florida, only with New Jersey, with riparian lands where the state essentially owns everything that's submerged. So Florida, somebody can have a piece of property exactly extends out into submerged water?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's interesting. Okay.
Very briefly, Mr. Mayor, Council, it's very rare, but it goes back to the history of Florida being from Spain and land grants going down.
I see.
So that fundamentally, very rare, but it does come up.
Okay, thank you.
Well, just one thing, since I remember I started working on this with former Commissioner O'Brien, I think in 2022, and it's taken us this far to get here. The one thing is, this is all great, and the anchoring limitation areas, and it does address some problems. You can have some unsavory characters just kind of parking off the shore and rowing onto land. This has happened in our jurisdiction, believe it or not, kind of wandering around and up to no good, or just being pirate radio guys out there. The delta, the unknown in this was always FWC, Fish and Wildlife Commission, who has really the primary jurisdiction of things like abandoned vessels and things of that nature. Have we taken steps to have a liaison from public safety to FWC to make sure that when this all gets settled down and shaken in, we can have proper enforcement mechanisms, and we're not just adopting something to make ourselves feel better?
Yes, and this will, of course, allow us to be an enforcing agency. And the primary goal, certainly an important secondary goal, is that public safety piece. This is so critical to address the derelict vessels that are just, anchored and abandoned, ultimately.
All right, thanks. Believe it or not, we had a tugboat. We had a tugboat in our area, and we were not able to remove it under existing statutes and regulations. We went on the boat because there was still fuel in the tank and a radio that could work. So other than that, this was not a seaworthy vessel. And you would think intuitively, if there's fuel in the vessel, that would be all the more reason to get it out of there. But no, that was a factor that militated in towards it not being removable. So thanks. Just keep us posted on it. It is an important issue. A lot of us don't see it every day. So thank you.
The second thing I have is a brief update on the septic to sewer and paving projects for Beachcomber Lane and Pebble Lane. As we know, HB 1379 was passed, and it required us to essentially required providers and property owners to not have septic systems anymore. No permits were going to be offered for those unless they were enhanced nutrient reduction systems, which are extremely expensive systems. These requirements, to hearken to something that the mayor referenced earlier, all the requirements associated with HB 1379 and the septic to sewer are considered unfunded mandates from the state legislature to the property owners. The city of Vero Beach and the town, relative to costs, do continue to actively look for grants. And I speak with the city about this weekly. We are reaching out to folks in Tallahassee in this regard, especially since the legislative session is over, at least relative to the budget, depending on what happens with that ultimately.
Mr. Harper, you might understand, the town cannot apply for the grants, right?
All of the grants heretofore have been based on the provider, not some other jurisdiction, so that's absolutely correct. What may open up in the future, I can't account for. Whatever we can do, we are going to do relative to assisting the property owners mitigate whatever the costs are of this unfunded mandate. One other thing that we're looking at, and one thing that we've already done, and thanks to council, is that we've arranged a situation where the property owners can place the cost of this septic to sewer connection on their tax bill over a 10-year period to help amortize the costs. We are also internally looking at our ordinances and our resolutions relative to any waiver of inspection or permit fees that the town can do to try to assist in regards to the costs. We do have a follow-up meeting, importantly, on the septic to sewer system abandonment relative to the septic systems, the sewer connections, and the costs associated with that. That will be in council chambers here on June 24th at 9 a.m. We're hosting that, but the city is leading that meeting, and their representatives will be here to discuss the costs and the funding at that time. And that's the report on the paving, stormwater, update. I will note that, as you might have noted, we've actually started, the construction company has started. We got permission to stage on the lot across the street for convenience. That way they don't have to drag that equipment in and out. We were able to accelerate, as we noted at the construction services agreement and approval recently, that we were able to accelerate the start date by over 6 weeks. So they're on site, they're working hard, and we're moving forward expeditiously as possible. I don't have anything other than that.
All right, anything for the town manager from council? Okay, thank you. Next item, 12, council committee reports and non-action items. My understanding is that Councilman Altieri is going to defer to the vice mayor for his utility report. Is that, you prepared to do
I
that?
understand you passed some comments along. I'm sorry, pass some comments on the town manager.
Okay,
So I'll
gotcha.
let him speak first.
Mr. Mayor, I do, and then I would ask the vice mayor who was present
Yeah.
to comment if he'd like.
Okay.
So I communicated with Councilmember Altieri, and the report for the Utilities Commission notes that Ratellis, that's the, presented their rate study, that's the city consultant. The prior rate study was conducted in 2022. In the intervening 2 years, Councilmember Altieri reports that the total cost for the new water treatment facility has risen approximately 90%, from 82 million to 156 million. Other capital projects have taken total cap expenses to 217 million through FY 2030. Operating expenses have increased at a rate of 4.1%. He discusses just briefly the bond financing and notes that little has changed on that front. The point is that the impact of the increase in capital expenses, operating costs, and debt service over the life of the financing will certainly lead, as we've already seen, to significant rate and annual water bill increases and impacts for all the utility customers and the utility customers in our town. So for residents consuming approximately 4,000 gallons per month, the rate increase will result in an aggregate 47% uptick in water bills during the period of 2027 through 2030. These numbers may go up, for instance, if the remaining contingency allowance in the treatment facility plan is exhausted as the project proceeds to conclusion. Approximately $10 million of the contingent funds remain unspent. And then the council member asked that if there were any additional comments by Vice Mayor Alwater, who was there, he would appreciate those.
Thank you,
No.
Mr. Harpering. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Okay. No, that's a really good summary of the meeting. The only other thing that occurred at that meeting is I got up during the public comment and suggested that given these huge rises, and one other thing I will note is reuse water rates between now and fiscal year 2030 will go up 72%. It was that the Vero Beach City Council think about capping the amount of transfer that they're taking out, and my suggestion was a dollar amount. And that ended up in the next council meeting. Mayor Cotugno said that their transfer rate has not kept up with inflation. Apparently, he doesn't understand how the math works, because he suggested raising the transfer rate from 6% to 8% of revenues. Well, they've already jacked up rates very substantially so far in anticipation of funding this plant. So that's gone up substantially above inflation, which means the transfer, since it's a percentage of the revenues, has gone up higher than inflation. Then then it's going to go up another, 47%, as Councilman Altieri's comment. And then on top of that, he wants to he suggested raising the transfer rate from 6% to 8%. So I think people saw my comments in the newspaper about it. I just think that's just really piling on customers in a situation where our rates by 2030 are going to be so much higher than the county's rates. It's not even going to be fun. So that's the only other thing I would add. So.
Thank you. And the only thing I'd add is that there are county residents that are going to be paying those high rates too, because the county saw fit to enter a 30-year franchise agreement with the city of Vero Beach, and a couple of people in this room actually live down that way. So don't say we didn't say I told you so 5 years ago, but we kind of saw this happening. So again, frustrating. We have limited ability to change this locally, but Legislatively, let's hope. So 1451 goes a long way. For me, I was at the Treasure Coast Council of Local Governments. We had our normal business meeting. We're going to be doing a scholarship for local Treasure Coast area students with a bias towards public safety. So if public safety and emergency services, if students are in need, the TCCLG will provide funds for whatever purpose. Doesn't just have to go to tuition. Students nowadays need computers, they need gas money, they need things to get to and from. So we're proud of that. I did not leave the room quickly enough. I was appointed to the audit committee, so this is 3 years running. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong in these meetings, but I'm happy to tell you that these councils run a pretty tight ship when they're using your taxpayer money to send us to these things. There was a presentation by a group called the Florida Cattlemen's Association, and it was pretty eye-opening. Florida has one of the largest cattle industries in the country. You wouldn't think that, but they do. I didn't write down where we rank, but we are above some states where you would think that, well, clearly they've got to have more cattle there. There was a discussion about the multiple ecosystem benefits from grazing. Another benefit is that it encourages easement programs as we develop the cattle industry in the state of Florida. There's a preference for particularly generational farmers who don't want to continue to run family farms. They would like to sell it to developers, which folks are not all that crazy about in some areas, to provide easements to adjacent farms, get a tax benefit or get some compensation for that. There was a strong recommendation that we tell the public, you don't have to stay on the beach to do fun things. There's a place called Buck Island Ranch, and it's a tour of an actual working cattle ranch in Florida. So if you have those relatives that come every year and you've run out of things to do with them and you don't want to go to Disney again, consider Buck Island Ranch. That's it. We have our meeting next week, and I'll pass it along to the Vice Mayor for any additional meetings he's attended. Councilman Carroll?
Nothing to report.
Okay, we're entering the summer where these meetings kind of dissipate. We are now at the call for the audience, so this is the time for members of the audience to come up. You can speak on a topic for 3 minutes. If anybody wishes to come up and talk about something or... Nope? Okay, all right. Well, thank you very much. Stay safe, everyone. We will see you at our June meeting, and thank you for your attention today. We are adjourned.